Wildfire alerts in the American suburbs don't always start with a roar. They often begin with an eerie, orange silence and the scent of toasted pine. For the millions of older adults living in single-story homes from the foothills of California to the pine barrens of Jersey, the greatest threat isn't a wall of flames, it's the slow collapse. This is a world where survival isn't about trekking through the brush with a rucksack, but about the quiet, heavy decisions made as the systems we trust power, water, and medicine gradually fade away. Imagine your home, designed for comfort, suddenly becoming an isolated box. When the grid is de-energized to prevent further ignitions, your electric garage door, a 200-pound barrier, won't budge, and your CPAP machine goes silent. In this environment, the wow factor isn't just the fire's heat, but the biological reality a mere 10% drop in hydration can cloud a 70-year-old's judgment faster than the smoke itself. While you wait for a knock on the door, remember that authorities often only have the bandwidth to reach 30% of households personally. You aren't just fighting a fire, you are managing a delicate exit while your car's air intake pulls in PM2, 5 particles that can trigger cardiac events long before the heat reaches the glass. True survival in the suburbs requires acknowledging the fragility of our infrastructure. When the digital pharmacy records vanish and the local clinic closes, your physical stamina degrades within 48 hours without maintenance meds. We aren't training for a sprint or a heroic stand. We are learning to preserve our humanity and focus as the world quietly shuts down. It is about making the right call while fatigue sets in, ensuring that we move before the slow collapse turns into a dead end, because mobility is often the greatest hurdle in these moments. I can help you create a specific no-lift evacuation plan if you're worried about physical limitations. Please share in the comments how you or your loved ones are planning to navigate an evacuation. If a primary vehicle fails or stairs become an obstacle, your experience could save a neighbor's life. 1. The mistake. Hesitating for visual confirmation, waiting for the horizon to glow or the air to thicken is a gamble with your life. In a single-story home, the urge to look outside for proof is powerful, but this delay ignores the invisible unraveling of your safety net. By the time the danger is visible, the quiet systems you rely on have often already failed. When an alert is issued, your focus must shift instantly from watching to moving. If you wait until the sky turns dark, the power grid is frequently shut down as a precaution, leaving you to deal with a garage door that has suddenly become an immovable 200-pound barrier. This is a moment where the comfort of your surroundings acts as a deceptive mask, hiding the fact that the clock is running against your physical reserves and the availability of local help. Your first response should be internal rather than external. Drink 16 ounces of water immediately. Research indicates that even a 10% decline in hydration during high-pressure moments can cloud an older adult's reasoning, creating a fog that mimics a sudden medical crisis. Keeping your mind sharp is your best tool for the journey. While the electricity is still on, move your car to the driveway. This prevents a high-stakes physical struggle later when the motor is dead, and your respiratory system is already under strain from the changing atmosphere. This simple transition from the garage to the driveway is a strategic repositioning that preserves your energy for the actual evacuation route, where traffic and heat will test your stamina. The math of the situation is unforgiving. A wildfire can advance at 14 miles per hour, yet an adult navigating with a walker or cane often moves at less than 1.5 miles per hour. You cannot outpace a threat that is moving 10 times faster than your maximum speed on foot. If you find the power already cut, employ a leverage-only technique. Pull the manual release and use your entire body weight leaning back with your legs to slide the door open once. Moving while you still have clear air and physical energy is a strategic victory. It is about making a professional-level decision to protect your independence before your surroundings strip away your options and the slow breakdown of external assistance leaves you isolated. 2. The illusion of the distant threat. Many homeowners fall into the trap of measuring safety by the visual distance of a smoke column. Standing in your yard, a fire 3 miles away feels deceptively far, leading to the dangerous assumption that there is plenty of time to pack sentimental items or secure the perimeter. However, this creates a lethal velocity gap. In dry, wind-driven conditions, a wildfire does not crawl, it leaps. When embers are carried by gusts, they can ignite spot fires miles ahead of the main front. effectively surrounding a neighborhood before you even realize you are in danger. For an older adult, this rapid escalation closes the exit window while you are still deciding which heirlooms to save. The physical reality is that as the fire accelerates, the local atmosphere changes instantly. The air is stripped of oxygen and replaced with superheated gases. In high-heat environments, an older person's heart rate can spike to near maximum levels just from the effort of standing up and moving toward a vehicle. This internal strain happens in silence, long before a single flame reaches your property, draining the very energy you need to drive to safety. If you spend 20 minutes gathering belongings, you are inadvertently burning through your finite physical fuel. You aren't just losing time, you are losing the cardiovascular reserve required to handle the stress of a chaotic road environment. To survive this acceleration, you must prioritize functional readiness over property. Instead of packing, focus on a zero-resistance exit. Ensure your keys are in the ignition and your vital maintenance medications are already in the passenger seat. The distance between safe and trapped is often measured in breaths, not miles. In extreme wind, fire can leap across 8 lanes of freeway in seconds, moving 10 times faster than a person can walk with a cane. If you are managing mobility challenges, every second spent tidying up is a second stolen from your ability to navigate the road with clarity. Professional survival means recognizing that your home can be rebuilt, but your physical stamina can't be recovered once the heat begins to drain your system. Moving at the first sign of trouble ensures you remain the master of your own timeline. 3. The anchor of possession. When a wildfire alert strikes, a powerful instinct often takes over the need to protect the walls that have sheltered you for decades. In many single-story homes, this manifests as a frantic attempt to defend the property, climbing ladders to spray water on the roof or dragging heavy furniture away from the house. While these actions feel productive, they create a physical overdraft that your body cannot afford. You are essentially trading your finite energy and oxygen for objects that the fire can consume in seconds. This emotional attachment creates a dangerous delay, keeping you anchored to a structure that is increasingly becoming a trap as the surrounding environment begins to deteriorate. The hidden danger of staying to fight for your property is the immediate impact on your respiratory system. As you labor outside, you are breathing deeply, pulling in microscopic ash and toxic gases. The human lung capacity naturally decreases by about 25% to 30% as we age, meaning an older adult is already operating with a very small margin of safety. When you add the exertion of hauling hoses or heavy boxes, you aren't just wasting time, you are inducing a state of exhaustion that will make driving a vehicle through thick smoke nearly impossible. By the time you decide to leave, your muscles may be too weak to handle the tension of a long, stressful drive or the physical demands of navigating a crowded shelter. Instead of trying to save the building, focus on your own stability. A garden hose has almost zero impact on a massive fire front, yet the effort to use it drains your heart's reserves. Every minute spent trying to fix the house is a minute during which the carbon monoxide levels are rising around you. In a fire zone, carbon monoxide can displace oxygen in your blood so effectively that your brain begins to lose the ability to perform basic tasks, like remembering your gate code or finding your car keys. This confusion happens subtly, making you believe you are fine until the moment you lack the motor skills to function. True survival means accepting that things are breaking down around you and choosing to prioritize your life. If an item isn't already in your car, let it go. Your most valuable asset isn't the house, it is your ability to leave the area with enough physical and mental strength to handle the next 48 hours. By refusing to be tied down by your possessions, you ensure that when the water pressure drops and the smoke thickens, you are already miles away, breathing clear air and staying focused on what truly matters. Protecting your health now ensures you have the longevity to recover and rebuild later. 4. The digital silence in the quiet of a modern home. We often mistake connectivity for safety. We rely on cordless landlines that require a powered base station or smartphones tethered to local Wi-Fi. However, when a wildfire triggers a power shutdown, those systems die instantly. This creates a communication vacuum that is more paralyzing than the smoke itself. For many older adults, the sudden loss of a dial tone or internet isn't just an inconvenience, it is total isolation. Without information, you are left making life-altering decisions in the dark, unaware of which roads are blocked or how fast the threat is approaching. The mistake is assuming the digital grid is permanent. When towers burn or electricity is cut, high-tech devices become silent glass bricks. Studies on regional disasters show that cell tower capacity often drops by 80% during peak evacuation hours due to network congestion. Even if you have a signal, your calls likely won't go through. If you haven't updated emergency alert settings or rely solely on apps, you may be cut off when the neighborhood power goes out. This silence breeds panic, and panic leads to physical exhaustion that makes moving safely much harder. To maintain clarity, look toward older, resilient technologies. A simple battery-powered AM/FM radio is your most reliable link when the internet fails. These analog signals travel much further and are far less likely to be disrupted. An analog radio signal can reach your home from a transmitter 50 miles away, long after your local cell tower has lost its backup power. Having this constant stream of calm. Official information prevents you from wasting energy on unnecessary worry or making a wrong turn into a closed-off area. True survival is about ensuring you never lose your connection to authorities. Before the air changes, establish a non-digital check-in system with a neighbor, according to emergency data. Households with a pre-arranged manual communication plan are 40% more likely to evacuate successfully before roads become impassable. Keeping a physical list of essential numbers and a paper map ensures that even if your phone's battery dies, you still possess the roadmap to safety. By preparing for the silence before it happens, you protect your ability to act with confidence, ensuring your path remains open even when the world goes quiet. 5. The pharmacy in a bag. In the rush of an evacuation, we often focus on the visible threats, the smoke and the heat, while forgetting the silent biological clock that keeps us functioning. In a single-story suburban home, your most vital survival tools aren't flashlights or knives, but the small plastic bottles in your medicine cabinet. The mistake here isn't just forgetting things, it is failing to realize that without your specific maintenance medications, your physical and mental stamina will begin to degrade within 48 hours. When the local clinic closes and the digital pharmacy records become inaccessible due to power failures, you're left in a medical isolation that can be far more dangerous than the fire itself. The chaos of a last-minute search is the primary driver of panic. When you are scrambling to find your spare reading glasses, hearing aid batteries, or critical heart medication, your heart rate climbs and your ability to think clearly evaporates. Data from emergency shelters indicates that up to 60% of elderly evacuees arrive without their necessary prescriptions, leading to avoidable health crises in the first 2 days of displacement. This isn't just about comfort, it is about survival. If you are diabetic or manage hypertension, losing your supply means you lose the capacity to navigate the stress of a shelter or a long drive. To maintain your independence, you must create a zero-friction medical kit long before the air turns gray. This isn't a heavy rucksack, but a small, waterproof bag containing a 14-day supply of medications, copies of your health records, and a spare pair of glasses. Research shows that people who have their vital medical supplies pre-packed are 50% less likely to experience a panic-driven delay during a mandatory evacuation order. Having these items ready allows you to bypass the frantic search and move straight to your vehicle, preserving your heart's energy for the road ahead rather than wasting it in the hallway of your home. Your go bag should act as an extension of your own body. Beyond pills, include items that support your primary senses, extra hearing aid batteries, and a magnifying glass. When the power is out and the smoke thickens, being able to hear instructions from officials or read a paper map becomes your greatest advantage. In a high-stress environment, the loss of one sensory aid like a hearing aid can increase feelings of disorientation and anxiety by over 70% in older adults. By pre-packing these small necessities, you ensure that you remain the calmest person in the room, ready to act with precision and clarity while the world around you is in flux. 6. The driving reflex trap. In the familiar driveway of your home, getting behind the wheel feels like second nature. However, during a wildfire, driving transforms from a routine task into a high-stakes endurance test. The mistake is assuming that daily driving skills will translate to a world filled with stinging smoke and chaotic traffic. In these moments, the visual blackout becomes your greatest enemy. When smoke reduces visibility to less than 5 feet, your brain's ability to process spatial information slows down, making the simple act of staying on the asphalt an exhausting mental battle. The physical strain of navigating an evacuation route is far more intense than a normal commute. It is a documented reality that prolonged driving under extreme stress can cause an older person's cortisol levels to spike by 200%, leading to rapid muscle fatigue and a dangerous drop in reaction time. You aren't just steering a car, you are fighting the physical toll of adrenaline and poor air quality. If you have any underlying conditions like cataracts or stiff joints, the combination of glare from emergency lights and the need for quick pedal movements can lead to a freeze response, where you become unable to navigate unexpected detours or stalled vehicles. To protect your safety, you must shift toward a co-pilot mindset. If you have any doubt about your vision or stamina under pressure, do not wait until the smoke arrives to find a driver. Experience from past events confirms that seniors who arrange a designated driver or a carpool system with neighbors are 45% less likely to be involved in a traffic-related incident during a crisis. Your goal is to be a passenger who can focus on navigation while someone else handles the mechanical stress of the road. This isn't about giving up your independence. It is a tactical choice to ensure you arrive at your destination with your health intact. If you must drive yourself, prepare for a low-stamina environment. Keep a pair of high-contrast driving glasses and a damp cloth in your center console to help filter the air if your cabin filter fails. In heavy smoke, your car's air intake can become so clogged with ash that engine power drops by 15%, potentially stalling your vehicle in a high heat zone. Knowing this allows you to set your air conditioning to recirculate immediately. By acknowledging your physical limits before the crisis hits, you avoid the trap of being stranded on a road you no longer have the strength to navigate, ensuring your escape is as smooth as possible. Final strategy: your personal safety buffer. Surviving a wildfire in the suburbs is not an act of heroism. It is a series of quiet, calculated choices made before the environment turns hostile. In these moments, your greatest assets are not the items in your home, but your clarity, your mobility, and your willingness to act while the systems around you are still functioning. By acknowledging the limits of your physical stamina and the fragility of the digital world, you transform from a potential victim of the invisible unraveling into a master of your own evacuation. Remember that emergency response data confirms that early action increases your chances of a safe exit by nearly 90%, as it allows you to bypass the peak congestion and extreme heat that drain your reserves. You are not just leaving a house, you are preserving the life and independence you have spent decades building. As the air changes and the alerts sound, trust your preparations and choose to move while you still have the strength to lead the way.